and welcome to the Liberty Insurance Camogie Championship preview, where we'll be analysing the upcoming senior quarter-finals. Hello and you're very welcome to the show. I'm joined here by fellow analysts Ursula Jacob and Daragh Conchúir, and today we're going to be talking and discussing the upcoming All-Ireland quarter-finals between Kilkenny and Offaly and Tipperary and Wexford. You're very welcome, guys.
Thanks,
How
Anna.
are you doing today?
All good, thanks, yeah.
Okay, well look, now we're into the business part of the season, so I'm just going to kick off and get straight into it. Ursula, I mean, obviously Group 1 has been very, very competitive, and you've had a lot of teams contesting for those three important spots. Talk to me about our first quarter-final between Kilkenny and Offaly and where you see both teams as it stands.
I think it's going to be a really interesting game. I suppose Kilkenny, they won 3 games out of 4 in their group. They had a narrow defeat to Galway in the last game. This is something that's maybe different for Kilkenny this year. They didn't progress straight into a semi-final. I really think the extra game is going to stand to them. And they're going to, really pick up, where they had the defeat against Galway and, going against Offaly. I suppose Offaly, on the other hand, they came through a very tough group. They had 3 wins out of 4 wins out of 5. They deservedly are in an All-Ireland quarter-final. Adrian Clancy, first year involved with Offaly, and he's really after, bringing the team on, massively. And, they're really going to put it up to Kilkenny, I feel.
So how significant do you think the loss was for Kilkenny against Galway? I mean, the top of the table, the two teams clashed. It was the league final pairings with Kilkenny overcoming Galway, and then it was the reverse that happened a few weeks ago. How significant was it for Kilkenny?
In the big scheme of things, maybe not overly significant, and as Ursula said, maybe even a positive. I mean, there's no question they would have gone out trying to win the game because you want to go the direct route, but I just feel the last couple of years they have maybe cruised into semi-finals and even finals, and maybe their weaknesses weren't exposed, and that has proved costly, when it's come down to the crunch. And this year, even in the league semi-final, they were brought to extra time, and maybe in a dour enough final that got them through. They were they would have wanted to win, but I think they will have learned from it.
And if we talk about, I would say, some of the matchups now that we're going to see between some of the players of Kilkenny and Offaly, where do you see it being won or lost, Ursula?
Obviously, the standout player for Offaly would have to be Michaela Markin, and you're going to see her, in or around, maybe playing as an extra, third midfielder. But I believe, Tina Hannon and Arlene Watkins this year, really have been, on fire in the full forward line, and Kilkenny are going to have to be very mindful of this. So I expect the likes of Jackie Frisbee and Colette Armour to maybe, man mark these two girls, because look, Michaela, is excellent on frees and long range points, but to win this game, I do believe that Offaly are going to have to, try at least get 1 or 2 goals. And, you've seen in the group games this year that both Arlene and Tina have been, on fire. So I think Kilkenny are going to have to be wary of this. And on the other hand, then, you've Denise Gall and Anne Dalton in particular in the forwards that are going to be the main scoring threats, and you've Katie Power to add to that. So, Offaly are really going to have to
players there.
are going to have to, keep it tight at the back, and Jean Brady full back for Offaly is going to be key to this, to keeping it nice and solid at the back.
And I suppose Offaly are going in now with 4 out of 5 wins. Kilkenny are always one of those teams that are thereabouts come this time of the championship. Let's make a call. Who's going to win this game?
I think Kilkenny are going to edge it, but I think Offaly are really going to push them all the way. Offaly are not going to fear playing Kilkenny either. The most recent outing between the two was the Leinster final last year, and Kilkenny were 5 points winner that day. So Offaly know that they're are capable of beating a top team. They had a very consistent and good group games. They beat the likes of Wexford and that. So they're not going to fear playing Kilkenny, but I do think this extra game is going to stand to Kilkenny, and I do expect them to win.
And Daragh?
Yeah, look, I couldn't argue with that. I think Offaly are dreadfully unlucky to win all bar 1 of 5 games and end up third in their table and score difference, getting the league champions Kilkenny. But as Ursula said, they won't fear them. They are defensively sounder, but I just think Kilkenny have too many areas where they can do damage, and they're pretty sound defensively as well themselves, of course, with Edwina Keane and even Emma Cavan on goal. So I would have to plump for Kilkenny.
Well, there you have it. We've got 2 people from saying Kilkenny. So we're going to move on now to our next quarter-final, which is that between Tipperary and Wexford. So Ursula, I'm going to start with you, and we're going to talk a little bit about Wexford, seeing as you've given so much to the jersey yourself over the years. How significant do you think losing to Offaly was, and then the way they came back, regrouped and beat the All-Ireland champions Cork?
Yeah, it was a massive thing. You know, they had a very disappointing loss to Offaly in the group games. And, you know, Wexford, you know, were very disappointed going away from that game. But I think they've learned a lot from that game, and it helped them, you know, go into the Cork game, you know, knowing that they had to win. And I suppose sometimes maybe when you know you have that added pressure of maybe having to go out and perform, you'll do it. Now, obviously, the addition of having Mary Lacey back for the Cork game, you know, she missed the first 2 games, you know, as she was away on her honeymoon. So, look, at she's back.
We won't give out to her about that
She's
now.
back, and you know, obviously she's, you know, so pivotal to Wexford's defence. She holds it all together, and she, you know, she helps the likes of Sarah O'Connor, who's new to the team this year, moulds her into the team, and, you know, keeps things solid. But look, it was a massive thing for Wexford, I suppose, in Wexford Park that day. It was incredibly tough conditions. And look at, you know, Una Lacey stepped up and got a wonder goal. You know, it was a great line ball from Kate Kelly, and look, Una, you know, finished it.
I remember it all too well.
I don't even know how she struck the ball, but in fairness, you know, you can see throughout the championship she's got 7 goals in 5 games, and that's going to be key to Wexford's quarter-final.
And Daragh, just keeping with Wexford for a moment, I mean, Ursula's talking about their attack. I mean, you've got the likes of Kate Kelly up front. I think she's got 5 goals now, and she got 3 the last day against Clare in the round 5 stage. How significant in particular is Kate Kelly for Wexford's attack?
Well, look, she's huge because, I mean, number one is the experience, you know, and maybe she doesn't zip around the place like she used in her midfield days, but she's still incredibly fit. She's really strong, which is a really good trait of Wexford's anyway. They can match her with anyone physically. And obviously she's deadly from frees as well, you know. I think it's a 5:35 or 5:38 or something like that. So she's a key operator, but you know, you've Katrina Parrock, speedster, always dangerous, always looking for goals. I mean, that game against Cork was so key for Wexford because it was looking like a draw, and Cork would have taken that down to 14 players at the time after Aisling Thompson was sent off. And it just changed everything, and it allowed Wexford to go in and really lay into Clare in the last game, and that score difference got them up, you know, ahead of Offaly, and meant, you know, that it was Tip rather than Kilkenny they were playing. And I'm sure, without no offence to Tip, but they'd have been pleased with that.
Okay, and I think, like, we're talking all about Wexford's attack, and you can't disagree. I mean, 15 goals in 5 games, it's a very formidable attack. So let's talk now about Tipperary's defence and how they're going to counteract this.
Well, I suppose, look, they're going to have to keep things tight at the back. You're looking at the likes of Caoimhe Maher, you know, centre back there this year, and the likes of Sarah and Arena Friday pulling out their forwards and, you know, trying to crowd it out for Wexford. Now, obviously, Sabrina Larkin in the goal this year is key to Tipperary in the quarter-final, because, look at, you know, you can see Wexford on average have been scoring 3 goals a game. So, you know, she's going to have to be really on her toes in the goal and keeping her defence nice and solid, and looking at the half-forward line of Tipperary, like Mary Ryan and Nicole Walsh, pulling out on, you know, on the midfielders so that you're crowding the space for the Wexford forwards.
Same again, we're going to have to call this game now. I'm probably looking at a Wexford woman and knowing exactly what answer she's going to give, but I'll ask you nonetheless.
Look, I feel that Wexford's experience is going to pull them through, you know, in this game. Now, look, they can't take Tipperary for granted. Last year, Wexford had Dublin at this stage, and, you know, we narrowly won that game. So they're going to have to play at their very best to beat Tipperary. But I still think, you know, they'll get over the line. But Tip have, you know, as Daragh said, they've young girls coming into the team and into the setup, and I think they're going to be thereabouts in the coming years. But I just think, you know, Saturday's quarter final might be, you know, one step too far.
Daragh?
It's going to look like I'm just copying Ursula all the time, but you would have to go with Wexford, and that's the form pick. They're obviously well further down the road than Tip are. Brian Boyle came in last year and has certainly improved things, steadied things for us and improved things, and Tip are going to come without doubt in the next few years. But Wexford are just physically too strong for them, I think, and with that experience and that scoring power, it's hard to see them keeping Wexford without scoring a goal over the hour, you know, so I'll go for Wexford.
Well, that's all we have time for. I would urge everybody to get out this Saturday and support the 4 teams in the quarterfinals. We have Kilkenny and Offaly taking place in Nina at 2:30, and you have Tipperary and Wexford battling it out in Walsh Park at the same time, 2:30. I would urge everybody at home to support these players. These athletes are showcasing camogie at the highest level, and they hope that they have your backing and your following. Join us next time for the semi-final previews. Until then, bye-bye.